Hello everyone, welcome back. Today's video is about a striking and productive bean called the Borlotto bean, also called tongues of fire. This is what they look like when you harvest them fresh. So you let these go, they get a really nice striped pink and purple look to them, and red. They're a really pretty bean, a very attractive bean. But these are kind of one you want to let dry. So if you harvest these when they're still green before the color changes, then you can eat them as a fresh green bean. We actually did that this summer and they were pretty good. But they're really a bean that's meant for drying. So you can see here, we got a whole bunch that are just sort of left on the counter. So they're in various stages of being dry. I just basically left them on the kitchen counter like this, so it didn't do anything special. And when they're dry, this is what the beans actually look like inside the pod. So I've never actually had the dried beans before. This is going to be kind of fun. We're going to dry a bunch here from our plants, and then we'll use them in soups and things like that this fall. I mean, we're not going to have that many, obviously, here, but we ate most of the green ones, like I mentioned. I've never tried drying beans before. There's really not much to it. Literally, they've just sat over here on the counter for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and they're already drying up really nicely. They're not, they're not rotting or anything. That's the one thing you worry about, if you're not going to use a dehydrator or something. But for these, I just put them in a single layer. That way they don't stay moist. You probably don't want to have a big pile of them. Otherwise, they're not going to dry out quickly. But if you just put them in a single layer, they dry out really nicely. And, when you start to feel they're really crisp, like this one here, crack them open. And there's your beans inside there. You can hear that they're dry. So that's what they look like. So I'll have to do an update on their actual flavor. I mean, they taste really good as a green bean, as I mentioned, but they're a really cool bean. They're really pretty. They're very, very productive. These were in a 30-gallon pot. I just grew a handful of beans in there just to see what these were like, and I'm really happy with them. We don't eat a lot of fresh green beans, really. We grew a lot of beans this year and realized we don't really eat a lot of beans. But drying beans, we actually use quite a bit. So like black beans, you can do the same thing for. Kidney beans, of course, stuff like that. So in the fall, we like to make a lot of homemade breads and soups and those types of things. So I think we'll get more use out of drying beans than we would out of fresh green beans. So thank you for watching our video on the tongues of fire or Borlotto bean. Definitely highly recommend it. It's a cool bean with a cool name, and you won't be disappointed.